morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's very tough to follow that speech and to follow it. But I want to say to you, first and foremost, thank you. Thank you, number one, for electing me. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's come before me in their efforts. I also want to talk to you briefly this morning about the future. And Linda hit it exactly on the head. You know, I am in a business where I often talk to people about perception and reality. I am a lawyer who represents people. When I go to court, how things are perceived is just as important as what the reality is. We sit before us the reality of two fantastic candidates that got away. And we sit here and we bemoan what happened to them. That's the reality. The perception is that we live in a Republican place. And it's true for 100 different reasons. But I have a secret to tell you. The number is 13,000. Does anybody know what that number is? The number of votes Barack Obama beat John McCain by in this county in 2008. The next time someone tells you Charleston County is Republican, you have an obligation to straighten them out and inform them that Charleston County is not turning blue, is not going to be blue, but it is what? Blue. It is blue, people. We are a Democratic county. I want you to do something as we sit here this morning. I want you to look at this building. And I want you to feel it under your feet. This is a reality. But long before this building became a reality, it was working men and women who decided to come together and said, what you do to one of us is what you do to me. And what we can do together is far more powerful than what any one of us can do alone. Think about the struggles it took to make this building. And here we sit today. A perception became a reality. And that reality extends out into our community with the people who call this building home, who earn real wages, who have real economic opportunity, who are real members of their community, and who share and work together. That is my message for you today, very simply, is this. There is perception and there is reality. And the reality is, we must be more visible. Every single one of us owes an obligation to every single one of us in this room. Is that when someone criticizes a Democrat, you stand up and you say, no, that's me. I stand up every day on behalf of, and I speak for people who can't speak for themselves. I fight the system that would run them over if it wasn't for me. And I take on the big fights. I sometimes go up against 8, 9 lawyers, big firms, and I always laugh, and you know what I say? It makes it a fair fight. But you know what's the best part of being chair of the Charleston Democratic Party? I have the numbers. And I have the people with the passion. I will tell you, if you take a look at my last name, I am the grandson of Ellis Island immigrants. My grandparents came to this country with nothing. My grandmother was 13 years old when she was basically kicked out of her home and given an address in Lorain, Ohio. My roots are very humble. I am the first person in my family to graduate from college. I am the first person in my family to graduate from law school. But you know what? I was taught the American dream. And the American dream lives, and it only lives as an idea if we make it a reality. Every single one of us owe that obligation, and it begins with education. I am a product of the public schools, and I am proud to be the product of the public schools. And what should scare us more than anything is we all know the road to economic opportunity, the road to change, means the better life we want for the children who sit in front of me. The life I want for my two girls comes through education. It is the vehicle to the American dream. And the Republicans have a very specific mantra. It amazes me. When it comes to spending money on defense, on corporations, on big oil, you can't spend enough money, it's all to the good. But if you spend more money on education, it's a waste. I disagree with that proposition. And every single one of you in this room should disagree flatly with that proposition. I will leave you with this today. I have some very specific goals for the party, and the number one is to increase our visibility. But in order to increase our visibility, that obligation falls to each one of you. I want you to change and make perception reality. And I want you to be proud to be a Democrat. I want you, when you meet people and you hear people talk about a Democrat, don't shrink. I move in Republican circles all the time and they make me laugh. And I smile and I just laugh. And Linda had a wonderful question to ask him, and I'll ask you this. You know, honestly, you know what convinced me? Give me the top 5 Republican accomplishments of the last 10 years. Silence. Because that's all they have to offer. Our job is to do twofold. Is to increase our commitment to each other and to increase our commitment for a better future. The reality is before us today. You've seen the trajectory. Our numbers in this state, by any measure, are not getting better. I'm not going to recite the statistics that Linda recited for us. It's not getting better. Yet they've had control. We owe to each other that obligation to make the change. We owe to each other the obligation to make things different. As Linda said so aptly, and I repeat, every one of us sitting in this room is the politics of the future. We have 9 months. Be the change that you want to see in this world. Be the change you want to